First of all, there are 4 of you and 1 of me. I'm the only Republican sitting here. Hang on a second.
We're not Republicans. We're Democrats. We're journalists.
Well, 3 of us.
I'm not gonna touch that baby.
All right, that was Andrea Mitchell's at NBC saying the quiet part out loud. We're all Democrats. We're journalists. Oh, now here is a self-proclaimed journalist. Listen to this, endorsing and defending Biden's Supreme Court pick. Take a look.
It's going to be a non-story unless the Republicans make a critical mistake, which is to keep calling her a left-wing whatever, which she is not. She has extraordinary credentials.
All right, here to break down all the lowlights from Meet the Dems is our company political analyst Mark Halperin, along with host of the Trish Regan Show, Trish Regan. Good to see you both. Mark, I want to start with you. You used to be the political director at a major network. You have this so-called veteran reporter critiquing the Republican Party's tactics, whether or not they use them or not, but saying if they do this, it's a huge mistake. And then very, very clearly saying, here's what I think of the nominee for Biden's Supreme Court pick. I've never heard Andrea Mitchell weigh in on any other Supreme Court pick. I mean, I feel like this is sort of a Rubicon that I've never seen crossed so blatantly.
Liberal media bias is so ingrained at most major news organizations that most people who work there don't even see it. From early in my career, I saw it. I watched Republicans be mocked, Democrats be celebrated. Not by everybody, but by a very large percentage of the folks there. And as I said, they don't see it. They don't know that it alienates half the country. It's just not part of their worldview.
Yeah, it has become so brazen and so blatant out there, Trish. I mean, you also, to counter her point, you can have great credentials, which Ketanji Brown Jackson, I believe that she does, and you can still be a left-wing nut or a right-wing nut for that matter. I mean, she's trying to tie political affiliations to credentials, and that's just not how it works.
And I still can't believe she said that. Sort of matter of fact, like we're journalists, we're Democrats, like it's like one and the same. I mean, I didn't hear anybody necessarily laughing other than the woman saying, I'm not going to touch that, rightly so. Look, I mean, Mark's absolutely positively right. I've worked in a lot of mainstream news organizations from CBS News to NBC, and I can tell you that, yes, there is for sure a bias that is pretty ingrained, I think, in so many journalists, and has been there really for a generation or two. I mean, you can go back to, I think, sort of journalism in Vietnam that kind of planted this way of thinking. And it's unfortunate because, to me, real journalism is about being open to all sides at all times. Now, you may have a point of view, own it, right? Like, I have no problem with that. Absolutely own it. But the interesting thing about Andrea Mitchell is that she's tried to present herself as a journalist with a capital J and not really in a defined camp. And, well, she came right out and said it. So I guess we know where she's coming from now when she weighs in on this Supreme Court justice pick.
Well, I think it just made it more obvious is probably the better way, because we've known. I think it's just when you start saying that quiet part out loud. Mark, I want to pick up on something else, though, because Axios is reporting that there's this new president, Chris Licht, who was head of the executive producer of Stephen Colbert's late night show. He's going to go head up CNN. And they're reporting that, quote, CNN is going to dial down their partisan primetime coverage and double down on the network's news gathering muscle. Now, it's interesting. I feel like you're only looking at half the problem. I don't really care what they do at night. I assume they're talking about Don Lemon. I think where they've really lost it is from the morning during the day, where they used to always claim that was their sort of the news nut of CNN. And now you've got New Day and all of these other shows throughout the day that are making it very clear what their positions are and acting like, opinion shows.
Sean, I'm going to do my best imitation of a network correspondent. That's exactly right, Sean, because you are exactly right. The primetime stuff, is kind of not totally labeled, but we all know that cable in primetime it has opinion generally. It is the insidious infiltration in their media newsletter, in their daytime coverage, their morning show, where they don't make any pretense of what they are. And I think that there's a great opportunity for them if they want to go back to it. But I think they'd have to fire a lot of people, because I don't think you can unring the bell of the slant that the coverage on the supposedly news programs, including correspondents, have had for a very long time.
You know, Trish, CNN calls themselves the Facts First Network. I mean, but with these new words where he says double down on the network's news gathering muscle, makes me wonder if they just actually countered that and it's the opposite, saying, okay, we're finally going to try to put facts first. We haven't been, actually.
Yeah, no, they haven't been. It's actually been really remarkable to see, Lyndsay, and I'm hopeful that Chris can try and clean some of that up. But to Mark's point, there's some institutional bias that's now sort of inbred, right, if you would, at CNN, in that everybody is thinking the exact same way. So it may take some reshuffling. It may take getting some different points of view in. But nonetheless, I mean, they should absolutely go back to their roots. I think this is something that historically CNN always did very, very well. And they've lost their way. And part of the reason for that was just the politicized movement that we saw over the last several years. And Jeff Zucker was very much trying to capitalize on that, but did not do so especially well. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak. But we wish them well. We would like to see more news gathering at CNN.
That's the hilarious part of it, is they tried it and it didn't work. So they sacrificed their brand and their reputation, and they're now way down in the ratings.